Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Okay, we're getting inundated with old Philadelphia Phillies.
Greg Luzinski.
I forgot. I forgot Manny Trio and Dick Ruthven. Oh, and they had the good uniforms with that. That they've got their old uniforms now. They've gone back to those, but they still wear them every once in a while.
I love the Phillies.
The P with the
uniforms.
baseball in the middle of the. Oh, so nice. Okay, all of our guests today are brought to you by our friends from Campbell River, and that would be, of course, Quinsam Communications Group, as we bring in Glen Suitor, CFL and TSN, Lions and Winnipeg tonight, the end of the regular season for both teams. For the CFL, Lions and Nathan Rourke is going to be playing at least one quarter tonight. That's the plan anyway. Lions host Calgary Sunday, November 6th at BC Place in the Western Semi. Here to talk about it, Glen Suitor from TSN. Glen, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you?
Donnie, Rick, how are you guys? Second-time caller.
Well, we'll get you on a third time much quicker than we got you on a second time. Glen, do you miss the days of paper tickets versus? I'm having trouble accessing an electronic ticket today. Yeah. Do you miss the old days with the paper tickets?
Yeah, I do. I actually, Donnie, had to just talk to one of the ticket specialists, I guess, in Saskatchewan for the Grey Cup, where I was getting tickets for some friends that are flying into Regina to go and see the game. They wanted to see one in Mosaic, and so I said, "Can I give them a ticket?" They said, "No, it'll be electronic, and it'll be." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah.
So I hear you. I hear you.
It's all above me. Nathan Rourke, what does his return mean? Not just to the BC Lions, Glenn, but to the CFL.
Yeah, I think it's great across the country. It's huge across the country. I mean, for football fans, for kids that are playing the position right now that may be 7, 8 years old, that, up until now, and for the last 50 years, were probably saying to themselves, if I want to play this game professionally in either league, really, but if I want to play it professionally, I'm going to have to change positions at some point. I was a quarterback in high school. That's exactly how I thought. I thought that at some point when I go to college, I have to change to DB if I'm going to have a chance to play professionally in our country or, in the NFL. So I think it's huge for those kids. Every coach, guys, and player that I've talked to have also mentioned that this is great for the game, that a Canadian kid is tearing it up. And just to remind fans, his last two games before he got hurt, so not the Saskatchewan game, but the two previous before that, Calgary and Edmonton, he had thrown for just shy of 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns, completed 81% of his passes, and thrown just 2 picks in 2 wins versus Edmonton and Calgary. That's what he was doing. He was tearing it up.
And Rourke, first quarter against Winnipeg, Calgary comes along, Western Semi. From what you've seen of him, and health permitting, Glenn, should the Stampeders, should the Blue Bombers be worried in the Western Division?
No, absolutely. Absolutely, they should be worried. Yeah. I mean, when he went toe-to-toe with Calgary, who, by the way, are looking at, a 12-win or possibly a 13-win season and finishing third and having to travel, 13 wins. I mean, the matchups that we've seen through the regular season between BC and Calgary, unbelievable. Between Winnipeg, BC and Winnipeg, Calgary, again, just fantastic. Scoring is up in the Canadian Football League, not up compared to 18, but up compared to the pandemic season, the shortened season. And, we're seeing games go down to the wire, final 3 minutes, real exciting football. And I expect these playoffs. I'll put it to you guys this way. I've been anticipating these playoffs for a couple of weeks now and thinking this is probably the most excited I've been about the entertainment value potential of the playoffs in a long, long time in the Canadian Football League.
Glenn, look ahead to Winnipeg for me. Can they be beat in your eyes? Because when I look at the Lions, and if they get back a big IF, what I like about the Lions is they're 6-2 on the road this year. I like that. I like their point differential is not too far behind Winnipeg. But can the Blue Bombers be beat in that Western final in your eyes?
Yeah, I think they can. I think when you look at when the games mattered, let's not even count the last one, against the Lions and playing Drew Brown and that. Let's not count that one for a second. And they'll have Jackson Jeffcoat back at the defensive end position. They'll have Greg Ellingson back at receiver. In fact, Greg will probably play and Jackson tonight here in Winnipeg. So that just makes their team stronger. But they can be beat. The games that mattered when they lost, they had like teams that usually struggle. They had turnover issues, 3 in one loss and 4 in another loss. And, you create a couple of turnovers. We saw a couple pick sixes. I know it was Drew Brown, and we're not expecting that from Zach Collaros necessarily. But, yes, they absolutely – I think the parity this year has been off the hook great, even when you look at the Bombers' win-loss record.
Yeah. Because,
they've won 14 games, yes, but I would say 10 of them went down to the final 3 minutes.
Right.
And if you're in a one-possession game with 3 minutes to go in Canadian football, you can score twice in that time, and it could go either way.
Let's get back to Nathan Rourke for a second, Glenn. Do you think there's any way that he commits himself to the Lions and CFL long term?
Long term is in maybe a 2-year deal, possibly. I could see that. I hope that we enjoy Nathan. I think he's a generational player. I've seen enough in 9 games. I mean, he's played a little bit more because he played a little last year, but in the 9 games this season, I've seen enough to be able to say, in all the games that I've covered and quarterbacks that I've covered, I think this guy's a generational player. And it's funny how sometimes across the country, Donnie, we in the media are easily and quick to say a guy like Connor Bedard, for instance, is going to be a generational player. He'll be if he gets drafted first overall or even in the first round in the NHL, we'll say, generational player, the next Connor McDavid, those kind of comparisons without him really even playing yet at the pro level. And he is that skilled and he is that good. But my point is that we're reluctant to do that with Canadians playing in the CFL for some reason. And, with Nathan, to me, he is a generational player. If the NFL doesn't look at Nathan one day down the road, they're doing the Tom Brady thing again.
Yeah.
Because he will be a Pro Bowler down there immediately if he gets this opportunity. In the meantime, to get to your question, I think I could honestly see, because he's building and, the politics that go on down south, I could see a 1 or 2 year contract and then one of the best ambassadors of Canadian football that we will ever have if he does go down and become a Pro Bowler.
Yep.
Yeah. Great stuff. Glenn, exciting times. I think it's been, like you pointed out, an exciting season for the CFL, and they get arguably their most exciting player back in Nathan Rourke today in Winnipeg. Thanks so much for this, my friend.
Hey, thanks, guys. Thanks. Hey, big crowd for the semifinal, too, as you guys have already reported.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I found out this morning, Glenn, tickets still moving at a good pace.
Paper tickets.
Paper tickets. This guy.
Love it, guys. Hey, love the show.
They're going to sell out the lower bowl. They're going to go up. I tell you right now, they are.
I love it. That outside party is going to be fun, too.
Yep.
So I enjoy. Hey, it's going to be a great year, a great playoff run. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks so much, Glenn. Love to talk to Glenn about Amar Doman and what he's done with the Lions so far.